Welcome back to the show. With an increase of women in the workforce, we noticed that 50% of parents are using some form of childcare services. But not everybody can afford to have a parent look after their child or hire a nanny. So what are the options for parents these days? With us in studio today, we have Jayshree Stephen, who is the director of Little Footprints Daycare Services. Let's find out a little bit more about this. Jayshree, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Little Footprints Daycare has been around for about 10 years.
That's correct.
And so tell us a little bit about how you got into this.
Okay, I started my family. I had 3 children. I was a full-time working mom. After my 3rd child was born, I just decided that it doesn't make any sense to go back to work, leaving all 3 children at a childcare facility. So I decided to start my own. I have years of experience as a kindergarten teacher myself, so I thought I could put that to use, and I started my first my facility out of my home in 2005.
Okay, and a lot of parents do that, is they start off that way and they begin to grow, but it's not easy to run a daycare.
Well, it's up to the individual. Some are made for childcare, some are not.
Some aren't.
So they realize it pretty soon once you get into the field whether you are meant for this or not.
Right. So in terms of daycare as an option or childcare, I know that from age up till age 14, there's just under 6 million children across the country. So talking about childcare as an option, like what are the options for childcare that are available to parents?
Well, childcare is basically 0 to 12 years of age, and this one encompasses family daycares. It can be in a commercial space. There are different programs. There are multi-age program, which is it's a group of children 0 to 12 years, all in one program. There are specialized programs, infants and toddlers 0 to 3, there's 3 to 5 age group, there's school age. So there's so many advantages and disadvantages of enrolling your child, and as a parent looking for childcare, you have to, it's a good idea to do the research to see what's the best fit for the family. If what your criteria is in looking for childcare, do you want to develop the child's social skills, or is it a necessity, or is it something? So it's very specific to the family's need. So yeah, it's a good idea to do some kind of a research before you enroll your child in a facility.
And research is obviously available these days. Everybody looks online.
Yes.
But the cost of daycare alone or childcare services.
Right.
The average cost in Vancouver is now $13,000 a year. That's very expensive. So, not a lot of families can afford this, especially if you are a single parent. You really have no other options.
Right.
So, is there anything that you can recommend? Like, what is that child tax credit that is available to parents?
Well, there's 2 things that all families should keep in mind. If you're a single mom and you're earning below a certain level of income, you could be eligible for childcare subsidy, which is a government funding program that helps single moms and below a certain level of income.
Right.
They help you with childcare fees. So they may or may not approve you for the entire amount of the childcare, but at least a certain percentage could be used by the subsidy program. So it is necessary that every family is aware of this. So we have families coming totally oblivious of this.
Right.
This aspect of funding.
It's not as if it's complete public knowledge, especially if you're fairly new to the country and both of you or people in the family have to work.
Right.
How are they supposed to find out this type of information?
Yeah. And it is also the childcare providers. It is important that the childcare provider relays this information to that family so that they could use that service. Yeah, so that subsidy is a big help. Well, childcare tax credit, it's kind of at the year end. You're not really, when you need it, it's not like you're getting it. But unlike the childcare subsidy, where when they enroll, if they come to a daycare and they like the facility, this is what they were looking for, and they're happy with the environment, then they could give the application to childcare subsidy, and within 2 to 3 weeks, normally that's the turnaround time, they should get a feedback from subsidy to see if they're approved, and if they're approved, how much they're approved.
Okay, and that's based on their own individual applications.
That's correct.
Okay, so in terms of the actual facility that parents decide to choose, what are those basic things that parents should be looking for?
Well, first of all, as a parent, you need to decide whether you need a small group, a home-based facility, or a group facility. A group facility is, you could have specialized programs. You, like I mentioned earlier, the different
specialized programs like a
infant toddler program.
Okay.
So
what about like Montessori?
Montessori is a curriculum.
Okay.
So that's that comes under programming. But then you could introduce Montessori for a 3 to 5 year old, or that's part of the curriculum. Specialized programs is infant toddler program or a preschool 3 to 5 program. And that's very specific to the age groups. We are not allowed to intermingle these ages. So a 5-year-old cannot, unlike a multi-age program where you can have 0 to 12 in one program. Family-based, home-based facilities, daycares are there, a lot of them are out there. That is, if you're a family looking for a more one-on-one with the child, a more homely setup where,
and that's something that parents can look for as well.
There are some families that like to have a family-based daycare.
So you've got your family-based daycare, you have a group setting, and then you've got the individual, is that right?
Yeah, we have 2 group daycares and we have 1 family-based center.
Okay.
So depending on the family's need, we kind of direct them to whichever they want.
Right. And that's basically up to the parents to decide what type of care they want to provide for their child.
Exactly.
Excellent. Jayshree, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show and for educating us on what the options are for daycare.